The image I have chosen depicts a woman on a pier at a beach sometime from the late 1930s to the early 1940s. The beach she's at is in North Carolina where she and her family live. At the time this image was taken, World War II had already begun in Europe between France, Great Britain, Germany, Italy, and the then known as Soviet Union. The US, however, would not join the war until a later date. My personal connection to the image is that this is a picture of my grandmother after a day at the beach with her parents and siblings, taken by my great grandfather. In just a couple of years, when Japan bombs the US naval base at Pearl Harbor, the United States government will declare war and call millions, if not billions, of people to help their cause. People will answer this call by enlisting as soldiers in direct combat fighting against Germany and Japan. Children will collect scrap metal, and women will take on clerical jobs in the military, freeing up more men to fight by becoming army nurses or medics and taking jobs in factories to make products that were needed at home and abroad for the war effort. When the war started, my grandmother in specific took on a clerical job in the coming years of the war on the east coast of the United States. Along with other women, they were in charge of getting messages from the commanders still in America to those now overseas fighting in Europe. Their job was to receive the messages from the commanding officers in plain English, and then put them into the code that was being used by the U.S. Armed Forces at the time. They would also receive and decode messages, and decode the answers to those messages. They helped to coordinate the war effort with those at home and those abroad, as well as helping common soldiers keep in touch with their loved ones still at home. While she did this, my grandfather fought on the other side of the planet in the Philippines as part of the 541st Regiment, 187th Regiment of the 11th Airborne. As a poor Italian immigrant with no money to afford going to college, my grandfather enlisted on the premise that if he survived and still intended to after the war ended, the U.S. government would pay for his college education. The 541st Regiment participated in many of the campaigns that took place in the Pacific Theater, such as New Guinea, Leyte, and Luzon. While I'm not entirely sure where my grandfather actually saw combat, as he was uncomfortable talking about it, he and his squadron were ordered on a mission into North Korea, while the rest of the regiment prepared for Operation Downfall, the invasion of the Japanese homeland. However, before either of these were carried out, the atomic bombs were dropped and the war ended.